Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the shop. My name's Adam. SNS 42. I think I got a jam-packed video here in the making for you. Do have quite a bit of stuff to show you. So just want to start off by saying that it's been a pretty interesting week. I've had some unexpected bills that I've had to pay this week. Man, we ended up having a busted water pipe underneath the house that I had to get taken care of, and on top of that we had some problems with the Durango, so I had to put that in the shop and get that taken care of. So my my wallet got hit pretty hard this week with repair bills, but everything's taken care of and now I don't have to worry about it. And you know, some of you guys follow me on Facebook, and I'm on there, you know, my name, Adam Booth. You can find me on Facebook, and that's where I get to talk about things sort of almost behind the scenes of what goes on here. You know, stuff throughout the day, jobs that I do. I'll take pictures and just share different jobs going on. I'll post up over on Facebook, and then sometimes we get into little discussions about certain things. So that's kind of like another place for me to vent. Whenever I found out how much that plumber cost per hour, I was like, what? But you know, it had to get done, and it kept me from having to get underneath that house and probably get stuck in the little access hole trying to get underneath there. So anyway, I'm happy that it's fixed, and the guys took care of it, and also that we got the truck going again. Just some, you know, regular maintenance type things. Parts wear out, you know, and you got to replace them after a while. So anyway, that was kind of like my week's events, and I vented about it a little bit over on Facebook, and a lot of the guys were kind of jumping in there having discussions about labor rates and things like that. So I just want to top on that also, is that I appreciate everybody's trade and everybody's skill, not just machinists and metal workers and welders, but your carpenters, your plumbers, your electricians, woodworkers, you know, all those kind of guys. You know, it's everybody has a skill, and it's something that I really appreciate and love hearing about, is people that want to learn a skill. It's the same as me. You know, I learned the machine shop trade working in a job shop. So, you know, I respect other guys' trades, and whenever other people have, you know, input on that type of work. So I had some guys ask me, why don't you just do it yourself? You know, well, for me, it's not, I don't want to do that stuff. I want to be in my shop doing my work. I don't want to be crawling under my house replacing pipes. I don't want to be looking under the hood of the Durango trying to find what's wrong with it. You know, I want to pay a mechanic to do his job just like they pay me to do my job. So that's why I don't mind paying a man that knows what he's doing to do the work for me also, and I respect that. Just treat me with respect, and I treat you with respect. Okay. So anyway, about this week's video. So I've got a few things to go over here, and I've got me a little cheat sheet. First thing we're going to do, I got some flea market finds. I went to the flea market last Sunday and found some goodies, brought them home, shot some video, and a couple interesting things there. We've also got, I've got a quick tip to show you. I've done a couple of those in the past. I ran across one today. You know, that the quick tip thing isn't something that I just I have a list full of them. It's just when it happens, you know, it's just something that I do, and I'm like, you know what, that could be kind of helpful for somebody else. So I had a little thing today that I did, and I shot a quick little video of it, so we'll throw that in there. That'll be a quick tip. And I also made some test cuts on the Monarch after I got the flood coolant hooked up. It was just killing me not to get over there and make a chip and have that flood coolant running on the insert. So I went over there and filmed a couple clips of that, and we'll share that, a little bit of chip control, just something fun. And I've also got, I got a job right there in that white box, and that is an intake manifold job that I did. I did that last weekend. Actually, I worked on it Saturday and Sunday, trying to get it done. I finally finished it, so I got a bunch of clips of that. I'll share with you what we had to do to the intake. That'll be this week's machining, metalworking content. And then the last thing that I want to touch on is this, the newest videos that I posted on the Vikes pedestal build. Everybody seems to be enjoying that, and I do have one more video to show you. We'll probably post that probably Tuesday. And so I'm having tons of questions about flux core now. Why you're using flux core, why you're using gas, that kind of things. So I'm thinking that we'll make another video just talking about that subject, okay? There's a lot to go into, and I'm not an expert on everything. I can tell you what I know and what I've been taught. So let's just wait on that and go into that on another video, and we'll try to give a little bit more detail of the flux core welding and using gas and that kind of stuff. And then also a lot of the guys had mentioned that yes, they would like to see something on using the oxy-fuel cutting torch. So we'll get something in the works for that also. Get all my cutting rig pulled out, maybe find some different thickness steel, and we'll just go to town, start playing with the torch, making some cuts, and we'll talk about it. So maybe that'll be something in the future there. Some good ideas for more content. All right, guys, well, that's about it. So let's go ahead and get on with it. We'll start with some flea market finds and then move on to some other stuff. Hope you guys enjoy, and thank you everybody for your continued support. I really appreciate it. Good morning, fellas and gals. Today is a beautiful Sunday here in Florida. It's a nice, cool 63 degrees outside. I'm loving it, man. Feels great. Good day to go to the flea market. Got a clear blue sky, nice and cool out. So I rode down the street there to the flea market and wanted to look around and see if I could find something. And today I actually made a donation to the cause. Walked out of there with a few things that I'm happy about. I only go down there really for the tools and to eat some breakfast. Today I didn't even eat breakfast, but there was a few guys out there that had some nice tools. Some things you could go down there and just load up on if you're looking, man. If you're looking for wrenches and sockets, claw hammers, and cheap import stuff, you can go down there and load up. But we're looking for the older quality, USA made quality, or just good quality tools, the older stuff. That's what we like. So I found a few things. A couple of them are really interesting. I'll start with this one here. This really caught my eye. I seen that sitting on this guy's bench. I'm like, man, that looks like a little tiny arbor press. So I went up to it, picked it up, started looking at it. And it says Oregon chipper chain breaker, number 541, patent pending. So I don't know anything about this. I've never seen one before. I'm assuming that it is a chain breaker. This part right here, that comes out. So I'm assuming that you use it to press pins out of chain. What kind of chain, I'm not sure. It says chipper chain breaker. So this, I'm assuming this is for chainsaws. Maybe you can use this to make up your own lengths of your chains for your chainsaw. I'm not sure if you can use it for, you might be able to use it for some kind of bicycle chain. It might fit down in this little piece here. Let's see. Okay, first time I took that off. So that fits down on here. I can get back on there now. Okay, and that piece goes there. And it's got the 4 holes so that you can mount it to a table. I was also thinking, you could set it in your arbor press too and press on it there. I can tell that the top is mushroomed a little bit, so I'm sure guys are using their hammers to use it. So I'm curious to know how old this tool is, if it is kind of vintage. Use Oregon solid temper saw bars. So I thought that was pretty neat, and I actually thought about our friend Don Cossett up there in Oregon, wondering if he's got something like this or if he's ever used one. So anyway, I picked that up, and I got a few more things from the same seller. He had a few good oldies there. So I was digging through one of the little boxes, and I found this tap wrench here, and it's got some age to it. You can tell it's been well used. This one is I know it's a Threadwell Greenfield number 35 USA. So we got the little tap wrench. Now it does have there's a little bruise on it right there, a little part's missing out of it, so somebody, I don't know what happened there, but it still works though. Needs a little bit of lube, it's a little bit tight, so good tap wrench. And he also had a bunch of old wrenches, man. I mean, he had a little stack there, all old stuff. So I was looking through it. I've got plenty of wrenches, so I'm not really looking for any specifics, but I did pick out 3 of his wrenches that I thought were pretty unique. And I got these. This one right here I thought was really neat because this is a Proto, but it's also got Proto and Plum Tool Company on it. This is a 3/4 end wrench here. So I know some of you guys are remembering more of the history of Proto and Plum. I know that I believe it was Proto that bought out Plum, something like that. They took it over. So this is another one. I'm curious as to how old this wrench might be to have both of their names on the same wrench. The O's are that upside down triangle in both of the Proto and Tool, or Plum Tool. Okay, this one here, this is a neat little cute little wrench here. This one is made by Billings. It says Billings made in USA. You got 5/8 on one end and then 9/16 on the other. So that's a nice little stubby wrench right there, and they're very heavy built, man. Got big ends on it. I like that one, so I grabbed that. And then this one here I've never heard of before, but it's called Herbrand, like H-E-R brand. Herbrand Van Chrome number 1228, made in USA. And it's a 7/8 end wrench, and the reason I liked it was because the end of it has a little more angle than what they usually see on a normal end wrench. So I just picked a few out of the stack to try to offer this guy a certain amount of money. So I offered him $20 for all this, and he took it. His asking prices for all this was a little more, but that's what I was trying to get to, was a $20 bill, and he accepted. And like I said, he did have some other cool wrenches down there too, but these were the 3 that kind of stood out for me. All right, so that was the first table there, or $20 stack right there. All right, there's another guy out there that's there every weekend, and I found that this is the first item. This is just your normal vice grip, and nothing special about it. It does need some lube. It's a little dry. You can hear it squeaking, but I've only got 2 of these, and this one actually has the spring on it. Mine are missing the springs, like Tom Lipton always says, man. But so anyway, I got that. $6 for this. I thought that was a pretty good deal. These what do they go for? Probably $20 maybe, I don't know. So I got that, and then I found one more thing. He had this table, just tools laid everywhere. All the guys are over there pilfering through everything, and I'm trying to like look really fast to see if there's anything cool laying there. And over on the side of the table on the other end, I seen this laying there. And I'm like, ooh, what's that, man? Little leather pouch. So I opened it up. And what do we have? Got a really nice 18-inch rule. And so I looked at it. Miller's Falls, made in USA. And this thing was in excellent condition. It's been very lightly used. You don't have a bunch of scratches and gouges on it. The ones that we use every day, they eventually get kind of worn, but this one doesn't look like it's been used that much. So, and it comes with this really cool leather pouch, and I don't know if this, I assume that maybe somebody made this or they had a leather shop made it. I don't know. I don't know if Miller Falls supplied a leather pouch with their rules, but so anyway, this guy is kind of firm on his prices. He wouldn't really bargain too much. He knew what things were worth. He's a tool guy. So he wanted $6 for that. Offered him $5. He said no. Offered him, or I asked him how much he wanted for this, and I was expecting him to be a little high on it, but he said $6 for the rule. And he even told me, he says, yeah, that's a nice Miller's Falls machinist rule right there, man. I was like, yeah, no, I've got some Miller's Falls tools. So anyway, I gave him $12 for the vice grip and the 18-inch rule made by Miller's Falls. All right, and then the last guy I came to, he had some tools there, and I picked up these two Craftsman double end boxed in wrenches, and this one here is 1 1/16 inch, 1 1/4. Still in good shape. Got a little bit of surface rust up in here just from, you know, it's just a little dirty. This one is 15/16 and a 1 inch. This was the one that struck my eye the first time when I walked by, and I asked him how much he wanted. He said $5. I thought that's not a bad buy right there. I don't have a boxing wrench this size, and these are useful sizes. And so I came back to him. I knew I was going to buy this. I asked him how much he wanted for the 1 inch and the 15/16. He said $4. I offered him $8, so I got both of these for $8. Now, one of the reasons why I really wanted this one is because of my 5/8 flange nuts that I use on the machines for your hold downs. 1 1/16. So this is going to be perfect to use whenever I use my 5/8 flange nuts here. So that's another reason why I picked this up, and to have the 1 1/4 boxing wrench there too. So that was my scores from today from the flea market. I haven't been in a while, and I was happy to walk out of there with some goods, and I had a good time. It's a nice morning. So I'm going to put these away and start piddling out here in the shop. Hope you guys had a good weekend, and we'll catch you later. Well, real quick, I thought maybe you want to see a little close-up of a couple of these. Here's that wrench that I was telling you, the Proto and the plumb tool there. All right, here's the billings. You can see the billings marked there on the end. All right, and here's that 7/8 Herbrand. Tap wrench. It looks like somebody's been hammering on that side right there, but still usable. Might be a good tool trade. Here's the rule. Now you might be getting a lot of glare to be able to see this. Let me try something. I'm gonna turn my clip light off there, and maybe you can see this a little bit better. I don't know, but you can see it through that reflection there. Miller's Falls. Okay, and then of course the box in. Now here's your close-up of the little chain breaker tool. Okay, there's your little close-ups. Alright guys, so here's a little quick tip for you. Today I was working on the horizontal bandsaw. It's a Kalamazoo. And then sometimes what you run into is you're trying to clamp a part in, and it's not long enough to support the full length of the jaw, or go past the screw there, and it wants to try to kick around on you, and you can't hold it apart. So you can take one of your normal 1/2-13 studs, put a flange on each side, and you can adjust it so that it'll square up the vise, and you can clamp evenly across the workpiece there. And it always works good for me. So that's a piece of 6-inch ductile iron I was cutting. I had to make a piston today, and I thought of it, shot a little clip, thought I would share it with you. So use that trick there. I hope it helps you out, man. So last week you guys see me finish up the coolant pump install on the Monarch. So here we are back on the Monarch again, and I wanted to go ahead and make a couple test cuts use the flood coolant. and let's see what it looks like, man. It's been a pretty good while since I've got to use flood coolant when turning. I mean, it's been so long. It's such a rare opportunity to get to use flood coolant when you're turning. So, you know, I just wanted to make some heavy chips and show you guys the benefits of using flood coolant when you have it equipped on the lathe. So I'm using another one of those inserts that Mike sent me, and this one actually is the 433 CNMG. It's got the larger nose radius on it, and it's the larger the radius, whenever you're taking the deeper cuts, it helps curl that chip over. So this was my first little test cut. Now this is a piece of 1045 chrome plated steel, just a scrap piece of rod that I had in my little roll around rack outside, and it was bent, so I chucked it up, indicated it. I recut the center, but you'll see that it's running out on this end. So let's take a couple little cuts dry, see what kind of chip we're running. I am using a 15 thousandths feed rate here. Yeah, let's get past that. All right. Now that was touching off on the bent rod, dialed in a 1/4 inch on the cross slide right here. So we're going to go ahead and fire up the flood coolant. I'm going to take another 1/4 inch. Right. Now that is some fast turning right there. I mean, a fast feed. You're really moving some metal, and this is an example of what I deal with on the daily basis whenever I'm machining hydraulic rods. You have to do a lot of turning on one end sometimes, depending on the size of the rod. So, you know, you're taking big cuts, you're taking fast cuts, trying to remove the metal. Now I'm just playing around here, man. Let's slow the feed down actually a little bit. We're going to try this full depth here at a 10 thousandths feed rate. Okay, looking pretty good. Let's put a little flood coolant on it. Just helps keep everything cool, helps your tool. You just keep it right down there on that insert. So that's taking off approximately a 1/2 inch, 500 thousandths, a 1/4 inch per side. You see how much fun that is? Nice little test cut. So like I said, man, I just wanted to put the coolant to use, not building anything here. I'm just using a scrap piece and just making some test cuts. And in the future, as my work comes in, I've got different projects to do. When I'm doing some heavy turning or possibly even some threading, I'll be able to use this flood coolant system and help keep your parts cool, help keep your tools cool, you know, all the benefits of it. I'm gonna make one more cut. What I did is I swapped out the insert. This is the Sandvik that you seen me do that heavy facing with on the other S&S video. I've had a lot of good luck with this insert right here. I really enjoy the way it cuts. It does a good job. Don't have anything negative to say about it. So this is a CNMG 432, and I want to try it on these heavy cuts also and see how it performs. I know that if you dial in a 1/8 cut, it puts off a beautiful little curly Q chip. The heavier cuts I'm not so sure about yet because I haven't used it for real heavy cutting so far. Let's make a couple just to show you what I'm talking about. Alright, I'm going to dial in an 1/8 of an inch, 125 thousandths. That's an awesome little chip, and I really like that right there. So I'm going to back off and take another 1/8 of an inch, so that'll put us at a 1/4 inch. Alright. Okay, it's doing good. Bring it on down. That looks nice. Alright, not so good for that really heavy deep cut like that now. You see what it was doing. I don't know if I like that. So as far as a depth of cut 1/2 inch there, I've got some better performance on some other inserts that do the job. But for taking a 1/8 or 1/4 inch pass, man, that does an excellent job there. Hey guys, I got some more bonus footage from work. This is a barrel for a big telescopic cylinder. What I had to do was set it up and machine the welds and remove the blind end, the butt plate on the end of it. It was badly worn, so we bought a new one to replace it with. And right here I'm using a TNMG 433 insert tool, and what I'm doing is I'm turning the diameter of that butt plate smaller so that it would actually fit over the cross slide. Had to make a couple cuts across there. It was right at the limit. That tool was doing a pretty good job. It was making a nice chip. There's the spot that I had machined for the steady rest, and right here is I'm actually machining the weld off. Make a few passes, and that takes quite a while. You got to get in there and kind of gouge into it a little bit to cut it loose. So here's some still shots. That was just a picture of like the full width of that tool making a cut. There it is, finally all machined out of there, getting ready to bump it loose. And you can see the dark spot there. That's where it was slipped up on the tube, and got it bumped loose, getting ready to pull it off of there. And here it is off of the tube. Use the crane to hold it. That's what the end of the tube looks like from the factory. They turn it and slide it on and weld it. There's the new end. Getting ready to fit it, weld it on. That's just what it looks like right there. And that's fitted on there and getting ready to weld it up. And this last shot is the weld. I made 5 passes using a flux core, weld that thing on there. Hey guys, got another project that I've been working on, and I wasn't even sure if I was going to put this on camera. I've just been working on a little bit here and there. Decided to go ahead and show you what I was doing. It is pretty interesting, but it's an intake manifold for a Mopar engine, and I believe this is some kind of race intake manifold. Not really sure of the engine. I know it's not for a Magnum or a Hemi or anything like that. It's something different, but I know they're going to be using it for racing. So anyway, they've got these fuel rails on here, that holds the injectors here, and you can see in the middle there's one bracket that's got this held on to the intake, and at the customer's request, for whatever reason, I don't know, he wants it attached at 3 points. He doesn't want just the center of it here holding it. He wants it attached on both ends of it. And now, they didn't really tell me how they wanted that to be done. They just wanted me to do it. So I've been sitting on this for a couple weeks and trying to figure out a way to get it done without spending a bunch of time and making some kind of fancy geometry, and just, I don't want to spend a bunch of time on it. I want to get it done. So I've been studying it, and what I'd come up with, I've got some 1/4x aluminum flat bar, and I cut some pieces up, and what I figured out is on the intake between the injectors here, you have a lot of thick metal. There's also a rib in here, so there's plenty of aluminum right in here. If you come over to other places along the intake runners, that's real thin area there for drilling and tapping a hole to bolt something in. So you got to be really careful about where you're going to attach something like that. So I figured right in between these injectors here, there's a nice little flat boss. So what I decided to do was cut these pieces of aluminum, and I didn't mill them before. I've got them milled now, and it's going to lay in there like that. This side's going to be drilled, and I'm going to drill and tap the housing here at the intake. It'll be bolted there, but this end here will be welded onto the fuel rail, and there'll be one on each side like this, just like so. And I had actually ended up milling those because it was really close to these injectors, and I don't know the connectors of how big they are that go on there. So I milled them down a little bit to give it a little space. But another thing that they can do is you can move these injectors a little bit if you need to. So I think that these mounted like this on each side will hopefully do the trick, and you'll have 3 points of mounting on here like the customer wants. So I've got these milled, and there's a closer shot of it. Like I said, it's 1/2 inch, so I just set it over in the vise, and I use this cool little carbide 3/8 4 fluid end mill. It's got a nice radius ground on it from the factory, and I just come into it like this. Just made a couple passes and then one across to sweep the end of it there, and that's it there. So next step is got to drill a hole in all these, and then I've got to set it up and get it clamped, line up the where I need the hole here, and I'll punch it, drill and tap the housing, get it bolted on and get it clamped, try to get it clamped in place. And then once I do, I'll see about taking this off and then welding the little brackets on. So hopefully it'll work out good, and I'll show you along the way how it goes. How's that?
It was great.
Got an audience.
Yay!